Unfortunately, I had already lost the entire morning trying to find someone willing to take me to the island. I did, however, manage to rent out a small boat for the day, so I still had some time to get to the island and explore the church before nightfall. There was something heavy in the air of this place, and I didn't feel welcome. Perhaps the bell was a warning for people to stay away, but I didn't let it distract me from my reason for being there. Upon reaching the old church, I observed the Gothic exterior, accompanied by the scattered tombstones that lay silent and shy of the large bell tower. The interior of the church was equally Gothic, except it had not yet succumbed to the harsh outdoor conditions and had aged surprisingly well. I guess the secret to keeping something safe is hiding it in plain sight. Luckily for my grandfather, no one suspected that the large iron bell in the tower served as a convenient counterweight. I just hoped that no one else discovered the way into the crypt, and that the letter was just a fake. Finding it hard to ignore the distinct atmosphere of an ancient tomb as I descended into the dark crypt, I was horrified to discover that the coffins had been moved. My grandfather assured me that he had never entered the tomb since he took the Polaroids all those years ago, and no one else knew where the crypt was. Just when I began to suspect that a grave robber had somehow managed to infiltrate the tomb, I was even more surprised to see the gold cross simply placed on the floor. If someone had broken into the crypt and found the cross, why was it left behind? There was nothing else of value in the tomb. Deviltry seemed like the obvious culprit, but to what end? And who would do such a thing? Amid the confusion, I suddenly felt a cold chill sweep through the crypt that was followed by the thrust of a needle in my side. I don't exactly know how long I was out for, but a sharp pain in my head and the stone-cold floor pressed against my face was the first thing I could feel. Suddenly, everything started to make sense. Whoever sent the letter somehow knew of the cross, but didn't know where the crypt was or how to open it. Behind the smoke screen of legends and ghost stories, this turned out to be nothing more than a heist of a valuable artifact, and I had fallen into a deadly trap. Fortunately, the secret passage hadn't been sealed, so I had a means of escaping from the crypt. But as I vacated the church, I came to the grim realization that nightfall had already engulfed the island. I hurried back to the pier only to discover that the boat was gone, and there was no other way of reaching the mainland. I didn't know how to explain all of this to my grandfather, but I knew how upset he would be to know that I failed and that the crypt had also been desecrated. In that grim moment of silence, I began to hear something in the water before spotting a small, familiar boat arriving at the pier. The costume suggested that it was the same person from before, but why come back to the island and bring the loot along with you? Suddenly, our attention turned to the sound of the bell tower. Eventually, I was distracted by the clutter of something heavy and solid dropping onto a wooden surface. As I noticed the cross at my feet, I looked up only to witness a body being pushed into the lake by something sinister. In a split second, I instantly grabbed the cross and ran towards the bell tower. When I got there, all I could do was wait. I was trapped inside the curse of Devil's Island. The secret passage could only be activated by the lever, and it seemed pointless to condemn myself to the crypt for the sake of escaping imminent death. But perhaps my last days trapped in a tomb was a far cry from death at the hands of this curse. But none of that mattered anyway, because I was too late. It was at that pivotal moment, while still grasping for air, that I finally realized why the cross was so important. As long as the cross was within the confines of the crypt, it served as a means of protection for anyone within the church's walls. The bell tower was built to warn and guide the locals to safety, and offer shelter should evil ever rise again. So many details were lost over time, people had forgotten the true reason behind the church. I can only hope that for the next blue moon on Halloween, we will be ready. Until then, the strange case of the moving coffins would be my next mystery to put to rest, since I was yet to find any plausible explanation, although the locals did mention something about an excessive amount of rainfall a few years ago. As for the masked stranger that dared to challenge the curse of Devil's Island, well, I guess some mysteries will forever remain unsolved. Hey folks, this is just a quick reminder to share this video and give it a like if you enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, you can share it with someone you don't like. That's fine too. These animations require a lot of time and effort to produce, and your support really helps. So thanks so much for watching until the end of the video, and happy Halloween. Stay safe, folks.